elite trio of Hangman Adam Page and the Young Bucks teaming with Eddie Kingston and the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii, and they defeated the Blackpool Combat Club of Claudio Castagnoli, John Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta, who are also teaming with Konosuke Takeshita and Shota Umino. Rich, take it away.
Man,
Oh my God, he's
man.
taking the fucking mic out of the stand.
Tomohiro Ishii at last gets a big W. Tomohiro Ishii aligns with the Elite. Loved it, the whole thing with Eddie Kingston. I thought this match was absolutely sensational. 5 stars for me on this. I thought this was like almost a in-match competition of I ain't no bitch. No, oh, I ain't no bitch. No, I ain't no bitch. No, I ain't no bitch. And all these guys were just in a circle, just trading it around. Whether it was Takeshita knocking the shit out of Ishii, whether it was Ishii just like facing off with whoever, Moxley and Kingston and their big chop thing. Hangman Page, the way he hit the ring like a ball of fire, the kicks he was throwing and the strikes, and it was just like there's so much snap in what he does. And I was like on Twitter in all caps saying, Tony Khan, re-sign Hangman Page right now. Like, I thought this was a classic. Like people, we saw a couple weeks of Collision. We saw the main event, multi-man match, nice matches that happened, and I think people, lost their minds a little bit. The Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite, plus a couple additions, had to readjust and show what a multi-man tag match, like what a great one is. It was this one right here, and this was just this was crazy, man. I think Takesha's got it totally figured out already because, of course, he does. And this is just one of the coolest matches, I think, that you'll find with this many people in it.
So, the people that will come out here and tell you that the Young Bucks are just high spot merchants and can't tell stories, I mean, they're down by like 150 points at this point. This match had so many layers of awesome stuff of telling you between like and he also give you programs of future you want to see, like giving you Ishii and Takeshi that you want to see, make you want to see Eddie Kingston and Claudio again, make you want to see and figure out the resolution or want to see like what's going to happen in the fallout between Eddie Kingston and Moxley over the part where like Kingston hates Claudio's guts. This was so fun. This was so fun. And like even like the little layer where you don't know exactly like the intention of Eddie Kingston and like what they're going to do with like this double super kick they end up hitting Kingston when you tried to either go after Moxley or try to save him because he's conflicted. You don't know which way it was, but like that's also added to what's going to happen in the future with him. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like the Young Bucks are some of the best in-ring storytellers in the history of this business, and people think that they're just fucking goofballs.
They should just be disregarded. Like they should be allowed to just walk from the company. Like
and like the idea that they laid out that match where they have Kingston and Moxley, they get the crowd up after they tease it first, and Moxley asked out, and then they get back in and they start just trading big chops and shots with each other. And as it's happening, everybody's hitting big dives out to the floor while Kingston and Moxley are still in the ring, running out because of like we're giving you like this was like a perfect example of like what AEW, a snapshot of what AEW gives you. Like it can give you heated personal stuff, the drama and the emotion and all of that stuff, and it can also give you spectacularness from all the dives on the floor that was happening. And like that's like a whatever gift you want to make of that, like those should be chopped up and be like, this is AEW. How the fuck do you not like this?
Yeah.
And claim that you like all these things that all the other wrestling does or whatever else. Is like, this is giving you all of it. It's a gigantic variety. And even sometimes happens at the same time in the same match with 10 people. It was awesome.
Speaking to that whole aspect about them not telling great stories, I mean, this is peeling back the curtain a little bit, but like I've been told on record by numerous people that work for that company that even though they aren't technically quote unquote agents, some of the greatest matches in the history of that company's promotion have been agented by by the Young Bucks, specifically Nick, more so than anybody else. Like, Nick is supposed to be, from what I've been told by numerous people, simply one of the greatest minds when it comes to psychology and laying out a match, and he's like a virtuoso at it. But they'll never get the credit for that.
It's not hard for me to believe because I see his matches.
Right.
Like,
Josh,
can you believe that Shawn
expand on
Michaels
that.
can sometimes be good at telling people what to do in their wrestling matches?
But the thing is, like,
Josh,
okay, you can
expand
see
on
their
that.
match. You can see their matches, and their matches are great, but they understand other people's characters and what gets other people over and how other people work their matches. And they've laid out some of the best matches of some of, you know, how there's these other camps in wrestling.
Right.
They've laid out matches for some of the people that are on the other side that people are like, they're not like the Bucks. They're great. Well, the Bucks have many times laid out your favorite matches for the people that you like that are supposed to be the antithesis of these guys. They're geniuses when it comes to professional wrestling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and it's not all just flips. They understand the psychology of wrestling. They're some of the greatest storytellers that have ever been in the business.
And the E in AEW, y'all know what the fuck it stands for.
Elite. Yeah,
This match was incredible. I'm not gonna recover everything that you guys mentioned, but I mean, there were other things here too. Like, obviously, Ishii got the big pin over Wheeler Yuta. I think that Wheeler Yuta probably, of everybody in this match, got the least reaction of anybody, but that kind of is hard to sort of achieve because he's not as white hot as he was, you know, a year ago. But as a young guy, now he's got kind of this lofty goal in New Japan over with Ishii to potentially, maybe that's a thread that he could, you know, try to chase down. I know you guys already talked about Takeshita and Ishii, but those two guys seemed like they had something against one another all throughout the match because they were like magnets and they just kept coming back to one another. And that was sort of like, you know, when did you ever think you'd see, you know, Konosuke Takeshita from DDT fight Tomohiro Ishii? Like, that seems so unbelievable, but it happened. Yeah. With the dive spots, like, it's incredible that Nick Jackson can still, with such precision, hit these very convoluted rope walking, you know, twisting spots to the outside and never get hurt. And he's been doing it, you know, for all these years. It's really crazy. Hangman was awesome. Hangman was incredible in this match. Everybody in this match, it was magic. Like, this is one of the greatest 10-man tags ever. Right up there with, you know, the Hart Foundation in at the Canadian Stampede, right up there with the famous 10-man tags from Michinoku Pro in the 90s. It's up there with all that shit. Dragon Gate, some of the LIJ 10-man tags. It's just as good as all that shit.
I think the only way it could have been better, even if it was elimination style, like over the top rope, like especially this being an AEW New Japan show, I think they could have stood to do the elimination style.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised they didn't brawl around the arena, which is in the MO.
Well, they just did it at the last pay-per-view, so they probably like, yeah, cut it out. We don't need to do that all the time. But even though, you know, Mox would have been like, oh, hell yeah, brother, I get the blade.
Exactly. They didn't blade. They didn't brawl on the outside. They didn't use very many weapons. They just had a pure, beautiful wrestling match. It was incredible.
Jeremy was trying to jump in. Jeremy, what
I'm
do you
sorry,
think
Jeremy.
Yeah, man, this match was awesome. You know, a lot of people will come out here and say, yeah, these group of wrestlers don't know how to tell stories. You know, everybody's pointing to the bloodline right now and talking about how it's cinema and there's such, you know, great, they need to win an Emmy. There's such great story. It's such great psychology. And I'm like, man, look at this match. Like, there were so many threads weaved in this match. The Elite and the rivalry with the Blackpool Combat Club, Eddie Kingston, his relationship with Jon Moxley, how much he hates Claudio Castagnoli. Then you have, you know, Konosuke coming heel now, and he's kind of feuding with the Elite. You have Shota Umino, who's still like coming into his own and trying to build his rep. You know, he's going into his first G1. He's been having this heated feud with Okada. He wants to beat Okada so bad. And when Umino's with Mox in the Blackpool Combat Club, he gets this edge. He gets more arrogant, more cocky, and we see a more aggressive side of him. So that was in the story right there. He's trying to live up to the guys that he's teaming with. So there's just so many pieces. And of course, you have Ishii, who told us in Dallas he just loves to smash. You can sign for any match. He just wants to, hit somebody in the face. And so like all this magic just came together, and it was wonderful. Konosuke knocking Ishii into the shadow realm. That man sold that so great.
I heard it was real.
Oh wow!
I heard he got knocked loopy for real.
Well, it was an incredible shot, and then Hangman the discus elbow to Konosuke when he was running in.
They need that rematch too.
Yeah, like they set a stage here. There's so many singles matches alone that they can do from this feud. And Kingston's doing more he's doing G1, he's doing more New Japan stuff too. There's a story there as well. Like this match was just so well laid out, so incredible. Great moves, great storytelling, great psychology. Like, and of course, you have like 10 of the best wrestlers in the world in one matchup. And what do you expect? Like, this was awesome.
Incredible.
And friend of the show, Kevin Crawford, said, "How hard did you pop when Ishii won for Team Elite?" And, we were watching with Jamie, and we already knew when Ishii got the pin, like, Rich's voice message is coming through. Like, turn your phone up.
I thought Ishii at one point when he hit the stalling suplex from the second rope, I thought he was going to do the brainbuster from up there. I was like, oh shit, but he didn't do it.
Man, it was so cool. I think that's probably Ishii's like defining win, like in the United States, possibly. And it's just such a cool moment for all of us that have loved Ishii for all these years, and then we get to see him, being the one to pin somebody finally, like, and he doesn't really get to win, the IWGP title. He doesn't get to win the Intercontinental title or nothing like that. But winning a match this damn good, hard to beat.
Yo, remember when he thought he was a former WWE champion?
No.
He got interviewed one time. They were talking about WWE. He's like, I wrestled there. I was champion there. And they're like, no, you were champion in Ring of Honor. And he's like, it was in America.
It's all the same shit.
He didn't know what WWE was. He was like, I was champion in America. I thought, is that not the same?
Also, a question here from Ethan says, "Do you think Shota will eventually end the Moxley aspects of his gimmick and become more of his own character?"
What's the rush?
I'm sure it's coming, but it feels like there's money in that program as well.
Down the line, a couple years from now.
I don't see any reason to go away from it immediately. Eventually he will. He'll be who he's going to be one day, but one day ain't today. And you can take advantage of like the Blackpool Combat Association to keep him over when he comes to the United States, so he doesn't end up like Sonata, like, and it'd be like, just showing up in his mid-30s and then everybody's like, who gives a fuck? Like, but
that's not going to happen. They're not going to book him like a mid-carder for 8 years.
Just saying, like, you assign these guys like with these guys from AEW, and it's like they have these stories to call back upon. They have these associations, and that alone will work in programs in Japan or America. As popular as like all these like people seem to be, and as well booked as these companies are at times.
Yeah, I'm with Rich. Like I think the thing that like last year when people were complaining about there being too many factions in AEW. Like the part where I just got lost on it, it was like, I'm sorry. I thought the people that were making this complaint, most of the people that talk about like they like the not match stuff part of wrestling, which is like, okay, so you're saying get rid of the human element of these people have had wars, spilt blood, shed tears, and broke bones with each other, and then people fall out or whatever else, or like you get the easy idea of why are these people in the ring fighting? Because one of these people don't like the other person in this ring, and like these are all cliques, and like they're protecting their own. Like when Moxley said to Kingston on last Wednesday, that line that line where he's like, I was always told like you protect the people that stand behind you, you respect the people that stand beside you, and you go up against the people that stand in front of you. Like, that's it. John Moxley again, understanding pro wrestling better than everybody else. Like, that's the human connection. All you idiots talk about, oh, AEW just wrestling matches or Japanese wrestling, just all wrestling matches. No, the human element of these people have ups and downs in their relationships, and that carries the emotion for why people are compelled to watch the wrestling. Just like anything else. The bloodline. What do you think that is?
When a few weeks ago, I was talking with Rich and we were kind of discussing the BCC versus Elite storyline, and I kind of likened something that up to this point I felt was lacking in the feud was that there wasn't that Four Horsemen-esque feel to it. And what I mean by that is, like, in the 80s, when the Four Horsemen were feuding with, like, say, Nikita and Dusty and, you know, the list goes on, Sting, Luger, whoever, they would have these big multi-man tag matches, and you could throw a bunch of guys in there and there'd be all these, you know, converging story threads. And then the match would end, and yeah, the match would end, but it wouldn't be decisive in the sense of, like, they put to rest all the stories. Instead, they could branch everything off of it and it would continue to grow, and they do business. And I was like, they're not really doing enough of that with this, and the potential's there. In this match, they did that. And now it's like, damn, there's so many things they could potentially do coming out of it. And it's really awesome. And it is one of the things that was lacking in last year's Forbidden Door, where, like, it was a cool showcase show, but there wasn't enough, you know, converging of storylines. Now the stage is set for all sorts of stories across both brands. It's really cool.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, Blood and Guts is coming up at some point this summer.
Yeah, the rumor is July, that the Boston TD Garden show is where Blood and Guts is going to be.
Okay.
Hopefully they do it right this time.